What's going on, my people? This is Pastor Curtis from the Journey Metro East, and it's so good to be back with you. My last series, as we were traveling through the book of Proverbs, doing Truth Unraveled, we were doing Wisdom on Wednesdays, and we heard such great feedback. We were like, why stop it? We want to keep it going. So we're going to do it during this new series called Facing God, and we're going to have these weekly episodes called Face to Face as we dive into more personally and specifically looking at the various attributes of God and wrestling through our own stories at the same time. And this week, we're looking at and wrestling through what does it mean for God to be present. So this is Face to Face, Episode 1, and I'm so glad to have my dear sister Jess Dawn from Metro East. What stood out to you this week as you listened to the sermon?
Gosh, what stood out to me was just this idea that we really have to be changed and transformed in order to fully enjoy God's presence. That He meets us and He uses us in those hard times and when things don't go our way. And I think I was just really thinking about how we often cling to that idea that He works all things for good. And when we're in something hard, we kind of trust in that, there's going to be good that comes from this. And I think of just how often for me that seems like this future thing. Okay, I've just got to bear through this now, and then I'll see down the road how good came from it. And really just this week it stood out to me that no, the good's right in it. The good is that He's there with us and that He's changing us in a way that we can fully enjoy His presence right then and there in it.
Gosh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit more about what specifically did you wrestle with as we talked about the presence of God?
Yeah. I've been thinking all week about when you said, do you really believe that God knows you fully and loves you fully? Or do you kind of think, oh, he enjoys the good things that I do, but then maybe there's some parts of me that He's just kind of tolerating, And so I've been really just wrestling in my own heart with that and thinking, gosh, where are the places that I'm really not giving to Him and resting in His love for me? And rather, if it's a weakness, I'm thinking, I've got to get past this in order for God to really love me, when in reality, He's allowing that weakness to be there, and He doesn't love me any less. And in my dependence on Him in that, I can actually feel His presence more.
So as you wrestle through those things, and thank you for sharing them, what led you to worship God?
I just worship seeing our God meet Jacob where he was at in his sin and just his self-righteousness and his trying to, just make it through on his own, that God met him there and just wouldn't let him stay there, and just how tenderly He spoke to him and how He patiently wouldn't let him go, and just lovingly transformed him in a way that allowed him to enter the promised land. And just remembering my own Jacob moments and some of the hardest, darkest moments of my life, just how intimately I came to know the Lord in those, and how just tender He was to me in that. So
thank you. Well, thank you for sharing really how you came face to face with the realities of God and entered in. And so thank you for joining us with this episode of Face to Face, and really want you to wrestle with how are you facing this particular attribute of God, God's presence, how are you entering and wrestling through your own story. So thank you again, and we'll see you next week.